the pre-dawn darkness of January 25, 2015, an elite team of police commandos moved silently through the marshlands of Mamasapano, a remote town in the southern Philippines. Their mission: to capture or kill one of Southeast Asia's most wanted terrorists. The operation was codenamed Oplan Exodus. By the end of the day, their primary target was dead. But this tactical victory came at an unthinkable price. The mission had spiraled into a bloody day-long battle, leaving 44 of those elite commandos dead. They would become known to a grieving nation as the Fallen 44. How did a high-stakes counter-terrorism raid turn into one of the deadliest days in the history of the Philippine National Police? This is the story of Oplan Exodus, a mission defined by courage, controversy, and catastrophic failure. The operation had two high-value targets. The first was Zulkifli bin Hir, better known as Marwan, a Malaysian bomb-making expert with deep ties to Jemaah Islamiyah, the group behind the 2002 Bali bombings. Marwan was on the FBI's most wanted terrorists list, with a $5 million bounty on his head. For years, he had eluded capture, using the dense terrain of Mindanao as his sanctuary. The second target was Abdul Basit Usman, a Filipino bomb maker and a key figure in several local extremist groups. Together, they were responsible for countless deaths and represented a persistent threat to regional security. After 9 failed attempts to capture Marwan since 2010, the pressure to succeed was immense. Oplan Exodus was meant to be the final, decisive strike. The plan was doomed before the first shot was fired. The most critical failure was its chain of command. Investigations later revealed that the operation was managed through a broken and unauthorized command structure. Then President Benigno Aquino III gave the go-ahead for the mission. However, he communicated directly with the Special Action Force, or SAF Director, Getulio Napeñas, and, controversially, with the suspended National Police Chief Alan Purisima. Purisima, who was on suspension for corruption allegations, had no legal authority to command any police operation, yet he acted as the mission's de facto director. It was Purisima who instructed Napeñas to keep the acting head of the police and the Secretary of the Interior, the legitimate chain of command, out of the loop. Crucially, they also decided to inform the Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, only on a time-on-target basis, meaning only after the operation had already begun. This decision, made to ensure secrecy, effectively cut the commandos off from their only lifeline for reinforcements and artillery support. At around 4:15 a.m. on January 25th, the main assault team, the 84th Seaborne Company, reached Marwan's hut. A brief firefight erupted, and Marwan was killed. But the gunshots echoed through the valley, alerting hundreds of fighters from the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, MILF, the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters, BIF, and other private armed groups. Unable to extract Marwan's body, the commandos took a photo and severed his finger for DNA confirmation before beginning a desperate retreat. Meanwhile, the 55th Special Action Company, the blocking force, found itself in a tactical nightmare. They were positioned in a wide, open cornfield, with almost no cover. As the sun rose, they were quickly pinned down, surrounded, and systematically overwhelmed. Frantic calls for help were met with confusion and delay. When the AFP was finally notified, it was too late. Without prior coordination, they couldn't provide the immediate artillery support the SAF troopers desperately needed. For hours, the men of the 55th Company fought on, running low on ammunition, with no hope of rescue. By the end of the day, only one member of their unit would survive. The nation awoke to the horrific news. 44 of its most elite police officers were dead. The hashtag #Fallen44 trended worldwide as Filipinos mourned their heroes. Autopsy reports later suggested immense brutality, with many commandos shot at close range, possibly after they were already wounded and helpless. But the tragedy was not one-sided. The firefight also claimed the lives of at least 17 MILF fighters, 5 BIFF members, and 5 civilians, including an 8-year-old girl. Thousands of local residents were forced to flee their homes, becoming displaced victims of a conflict they had no part in. Their stories were largely lost in the political firestorm that followed. The Mamasapano clash sent shockwaves through the Philippines. Multiple investigations, including one by the Philippine Senate, were launched. The findings were damning, concluding that the mission was plagued by a broken chain of command, poor planning, and the unlawful actions of a suspended police chief. The political fallout was immense. Public outrage derailed the passage of the Bangsamoro Basic Law, a landmark piece of legislation that was the cornerstone of the peace process with the MILF. Years of trust building were shattered overnight, and the path to peace in Mindanao was thrown into jeopardy. Controversy also swirled around the role of the United States in the operation. While the official line was limited to intelligence sharing, reports emerged of American personnel monitoring the raid in real time from the command post, raising questions about the extent of their involvement. Oplan Exodus was a tactical success that became a strategic disaster. The mission accomplished its goal of neutralizing a dangerous terrorist, but at a cost that continues to haunt the Philippines. The fallen 44 are remembered as heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice for their country. Their story is one of incredible bravery, but it is also a painful lesson in the devastating consequences of failed leadership, broken protocols, and the high price of secrets. It is a tragedy that forever changed the course of a nation's quest for peace. What are your thoughts on the Mamasapano incident? Share them respectfully in the comments below, and if you found this video informative, please like and subscribe for more deep dives into historical events.